Good morning, students. Chapter 1, The Living World. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the taxonomy and systematics. Taxonomy, taxes means arrangement and nomos means law. So, taxonomy is the science of arrangement of living organisms along with the classification, description, identification and naming of organisms, which includes all flora and fauna. So, flora means all plants and fauna means all animals, including the microorganisms of the world. So, this is the definition for taxonomy. The word taxonomy was coined by Augustine Pyramus de Candolle in the year 1813. So, taxonomy is a theoretical study of classification with well-defined principles, rules and procedures. So, who is the father of taxonomy means Aristotle is called as the father of taxonomy, and Carolus Linnaeus is the father of modern taxonomy. So, this is the picture of Aristotle. Aristotle is called the father of taxonomy. And in this picture you can able to see Carolus Linnaeus. He is the father of modern taxonomy. Next, we'll see what is systematics. System or sequence. The objectives of taxonomy and systematics are very similar. So, more or less taxonomy and systematics are similar. Their goal is to classify the organisms with stipulated rules. So, the main criteria for systematics is to identify the animal, to describe the animal, to give name, that is giving name to the animal, arranging, preserving and documenting the organism. So, these are the main criteria of systematics. Apart from the above said features, evolutionary history of the species and the environmental adaptations and interrelationship between the species are also being investigated in systematics. So, more or less systematics and taxonomy, their goal and objectives are same, but apart from the that is above said features, the systematics, it deals with the evolutionary history of the species and the environmental adaptations and the interrelationship between species are also investigated. Next, we'll see about the history of classification. So, classification have come across a long way. So, if you take the earlier classifications, that is the earlier classification of organisms were based on mainly two criteria. One is beneficial animals and harmful animals. So, in the earlier days, the organisms were classified based on two main criteria, beneficial or harmful animals. An ancient classification system recognized 5 animal groups. So, an very ancient classification system recognized animals into 5 groups. They are domesticated, that is animals which are being reared in home, wild animals, that is animals which are living in the forest, creeping animals, flying and sea animals. So, these are the 5 groups in the ancient classification system. Initially, the classification was based on organisms' fundamental characters. So, how they classified and how they classified the animals in the earlier days means based on the fundamental characters such as habitat and morphology. Habitat, living place. Morphology means external structure, how it looks or what are the features. So, based on the external features and the habitat only, the animals have been classified. Next, we'll see the classification of Aristotle. So, Aristotle is the father of taxonomy. So, his period was 384 to 322 BC and he was the first to classify all animals. So, he was the first to classify all animals and he have mentioned in it in his book, that is Historia Animalium in Latin. So, he was the first to classify all the animals in his History of Animals. So, he have written a book and the name of the book is History of Animals. In Latin it is called as Historia Animalium. So, he attempted a basic classification to all living organisms. So, according to Aristotle, he classified all living organisms into two main categories or groups. One is plant and next one is animals. And he also classified animals based on their locomotion. So based on the locomotion, that is movement from one place to another, is called as locomotion. So he classified animals based on locomotion into walking. That is, walking animals are called as terrestrial animals, and flying animals are called as aerial, and swimming animals are called as aquatic. And he also classified based on the presence or absence of red blood. So based on the presence or absence of red blood, he classified the animals into two groups. One is Anaima, that is animals with red blood, and those without blood are called as Anaima. So based on the presence or absence of red blood, he classified the animals into Anaima. Anaima means with blood, animals with red blood, and Anaima means animals without blood. So the Aristotle classification, though it was accepted in the earlier days, it has many limitations, that is drawbacks and controversies. Aristotle classification has many limitations, and many organisms were not fitting into his classification. So many organisms or many animals are not fitting into the Aristotle classification. For example, the tadpoles of frogs are born in water and they have gills, but when they metamorphosed into adult frog, they have lungs and can live both in water and on land. So tadpoles. So if you take the frog, the young ones of frog are called as tadpoles. They live in the water and they have gills during the earlier stages. But when after metamorphosis, when they became adult frog, they have lungs and they live both in water and land. How to classify the frogs? Whether to place them in the aquatic animals or in the terrestrial animals. So these are all the limitations of the Aristotle classification. And another one example is Aristotle classified organisms based on locomotion. So he classified based on locomotion into walking, flying and swimming. So hence birds, bats and flying insects, all these will fly, were grouped together just by observing only one single feature. So by one single feature, that is based on flying, whether we can keep the birds, bats and flying insects into one category, it is not possible, because birds they belong to aves and bats belong to the flying mammal. So insects also belong to different categories. So we cannot keep all this based on one single character, that is flying, the flying ability. On the contrary to the above said example, that is ostrich, emu and penguin. So all these belong to birds but they cannot fly. So Aristotle would not have classified them as birds. So in spite of these limitations, Aristotle classification system was followed for more than 2000 years up to 1700. So even the Aristotle classification have many limitations and many animals cannot able to fit into his classification. It was accepted or followed for more than 2000 years up to 1700. So after Aristotle, his student, that is Theophrastus, the year, that is his period was during 372 to 287 BC. He was the student of Aristotle and he continued his research on the classification of plants. He mainly classified the plants and he has done many contributions and he was known as the father of botany. So Theophrastus was called the father of botany. So he was the student of Aristotle and he has done many work on the classification of plants. So there was a huge gap till the 16th century. Then the English naturalist, that is John Ray, his period was 1627 to 1705, wrote several important works through his life. So after Theophrastus, English naturalist John Ray, and he also wrote several important works in his life in classification. His most important contribution was the establishment of species as the ultimate unit of taxonomy. So his important contribution was that he only said that species was the ultimate unit. So species is the smallest unit of taxonomy. In 1682, he published the Methodus Plantorum Nova. So John Ray published a book named Methodus Plantarum Nova, which contained about, so in this book he wrote about 18,000 plant species. So he described about 18,000 plant species in the book Methodus Plantarum. So he has done many works in the classification of plants, and his important contribution was, that is, species as the ultimate unit of taxonomy. Though he has done many contributions, his complicated classification, that is, his classification was very complicated because it was based on many combined characters. So if you take Aristotle and others, they have seen only some, that is, easily observable characters for classification, but John Ray has complicated classification which was based on many combined characters, and it was opposed to earlier taxonomists. So many earlier taxonomists opposed the John Ray classification, and John Ray also aimed at publishing a complete system of nature which included works on mammals, reptiles, birds, fishes and insects. So after John Ray, the Swedish biologist, that is Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus was a Swedish biologist. His period was 1707 to 1788. He was called as the father of modern taxonomy. So Carolus Linnaeus was called as the father of modern taxonomy, and he developed a scientific system of taxonomy. So he developed a scientific system of taxonomy and binomial nomenclature, which is still with modification. So we are still using the Carolus Linnaeus classification with certain changes, that is modification. So he was called as the father of modern taxonomy. So if you take Aristotle to Linnaeus, they employed easily observable single to few traits, that is. So Aristotle classification, if you take Carolus Linnaeus classification, their classification is based on very simple observable characters to classify the organisms. So which increased knowledge of the several. So due to the increased in the advancement of science, several biological domains, many characters were considered for classifying. So due to advancement in science, nowadays they are considering many characters for classifying organism. So this represented the phase of classical taxonomy. So this led to the classical taxonomy, which was based on overall similarities or affinities derived from the morphology, anatomy and embryology. So based on morphology means the external characters, anatomy means internal characters, and embryology means studying the embryo, that is about the embryos. So study of embryos is called as embryology. So based on all these characters, the classification is based. So this is called as the classical taxonomy. And a modification of this system is the numerical. And after the classical taxonomy, a modification is the numerical taxonomy. Numerical taxonomy has been evolved in the year 1950. And this system evaluates the resemblances. So how much percentage of resemblances and how much percentage of differences among the organisms. So through the statistical methods followed by computer analysis to establish the numerical degree. So how many, that is based on the numerical, how much percentage of resemblances or similarities or differences among the living organisms. So this is called as the numerical taxonomy. So later on, the biologists initiated the studies on the evolutionary and genetic relationship among the organisms, which led to the emergence of phylogenetic classification or cladistics. So what is phylogenetic classification or cladistics means? It is the classification which is based on the study of the evolutionary, so and genetic, how the organisms are genetically related and how their ancestors are closely related. So that is called as the phylogenetic classification or cladistics. So it is an evolutionary classification based on how a common ancestry was shared. So if you take a group of animals, if you see the ancestors of the animals, their ancestors also, they were very closely related. Cladistic classification summarizes the genetic differences between all species in the phylogenetic tree. Ernest Haeckel introduced the method of representing the evolutionary relationship with the help of a tree diagram known as cladogram. So cladogram is nothing but it is a tree diagram. So it was introduced by Ernest, that is Haeckel. He introduced the method of representing the evolutionary relationships with the help of the tree diagram known as the cladogram. So this system of classification takes into account the ancestral characters, that is traits. Traits means characters of basic body design which would be in the entire group, and derived characters, that is traits whose structure and functions differs from those of the ancestral characters. So how the characters of the ancestors have been related and what are the characters which are not related. So structures and functions differs from those of the ancestral characters. So they are called as the derived characters. So some characters have been, that is transmitted from their ancestors, and some characters they are not related with their ancestors. So they are called as the derived characters. One or more derived characters which appear during evolution resulted in the formation of new subspecies. So in a cladogram, each evolutionary steps produces a branching, and all the members of the branch would possess the derived characters which will not be seen in organisms below the particular branch point. So arranging organisms on the basis in their similar and derived characters which differ from the ancestral characters produced a phylogenetic tree or cladogram. So what is cladogram or phylogenetic tree means? It is arranging the organisms on the basis of their similarities or derived characters which differ from their ancestral characters. So till this we conclude our topic. In the next class we will discuss about the 5 kingdom classification and the 3 domains of life. Thank you.